the equation, but I'll just recapitulate somewhat about the derivation. So if you look at this diagram, let us say that we have a wire XY carrying a current I, and out of that we take a small element dl through which the current flowing is I. So the current element is I dl bar. Let us draw a perpendicular EG, and EFG is an angle theta. It's not that visible, but it's angle theta. So this angle will be also theta. Let this IDL, the current element, makes an angle, very small angle, delta phi at point P, where we have to find the magnetic field due to the whole conductor XY. Let us draw a perpendicular from a point P up to the conductor XY, and let us call this point as suppose Q. Let us the distance taken be as R. We have a position vector R bar EP. Let the angle this created over here be phi, and after all, when we calculate the magnetic field due to the whole conductor, we'll join these 2 points up to point P and let these angles be phi 2 and phi 1 respectively. So we'll just derive with the help of all these information. First we'll derive the magnetic field due to this point, and it's delta B bar. According to Barth-Savart law, it's mu naught by 4 pi I delta L bar cross R bar upon R cube. This is the Barth-Savart law. We know very well, if I convert this into the form of magnitude, we want the angle between IDL bar and R bar. So it's IDL bar and R bar. That means we need this particular angle. So that will be 180 minus theta. So therefore this equation will be delta B bar equals mu naught by 4 pi I delta L into R into sine of 180 minus theta upon R cube. This R and this gets cancelled, so we get R square over here. So delta B bar equals to mu naught upon 4 pi I delta R sine 180 minus theta will give me sine theta and upon R square. This is my equation number 1. Using this equation, we have to derive for the magnetic field for a whole conductor XY. Now, after this, we need the value of delta L sine theta. Now how do we get? We take triangles. First I take triangle EFG. Can you see this triangle EFG? And we find the relation of EG. Then we take a triangle EGP, and again we find the relation of EG. We compare those equations, we get the value. So if I take this triangle EFG and I apply and find the value of sine theta. So EFG, the value of sine theta will be, if I find the sine theta from here, I get sine theta equals to EG upon EF. So sine theta equals to EG upon EF. I know EF is nothing else but it's a length which is delta L. So I get this as delta L sine theta equals to EG. Let us say that I got this equation, and let us say that this is your equation number 2. Now similar way I take another triangle. In triangle EGP, if I take a triangle EGP here, For this triangle EGP, I find sine of delta phi, and when I find sine of delta phi, I know that sine is opposite upon hypotenuse, so it's EG upon EP. EP is R, so EG upon EP. So I get this value as, since sine delta phi, this angle is very small, and if it is measured in radians, I can write sine delta phi as nothing else but delta phi into EP. EP is R equals to EG. This is my equation number 3. Let us say I compare this equation 2 and 3. I get EG and EG over here. So I get delta L sine theta equals to delta phi into R. So we got the value of delta L sine theta, which is R into delta phi. We substitute in equation 1. Now if I substitute this value in equation 1, I get this as delta B, only magnitude, delta B equals to mu naught upon 4 pi I. Delta L sine theta is delta into R upon R square. So this and this gets cancelled, so we get finally delta B equals mu naught upon 4 pi I delta phi upon R. Let's say that this is my equation number 4. Now we find the value of R from this equation, that is from this triangle, the value of R. And how do we get the value? I know this is phi, so sine phi or cos phi should give me the relation between small r and capital R. So if I find cos phi, that will help me. So if I find cos phi, cos is adjacent upon hypotenuse, so I get the value of cos phi equals to R upon small r. So therefore I got the value of cos phi equals to R upon R. Substitute this value of R over here. So therefore delta B will be equals to mu naught by 4 pi. If I substitute the value of R over here, then this equation will transform into I cos phi delta phi upon R. Let us say this is my equation number 4, and this is the equation we need now. We got the value of delta phi due to the current element, which is very small, I delta phi. Now we solve ahead and we find the magnetic field due to the whole current. So we have this equation, that is delta B equals to mu naught by 4 pi I cos phi delta phi upon R. But now we want to find for the whole conductor, so we will need the angles, that's the lower limit and the upper limit. So lower limit will be phi 1, upper limit will be phi 2. Now this lower limit we will take in negative because the angle is measured in anti-clockwise direction. This is measured in clockwise direction, so it's positive with respect to phi. So phi 1 and phi 2, two angles we get. So if I simplify this, that means I get this equation as delta B equals to mu naught by 4 pi I cos phi delta phi upon R, and my limits will be from minus phi 1 to phi 2. Now we simplify this. This value will be my beta because it's the integration of all delta B. So I get this as B equals to, constant terms will be mu naught by 4 pi I upon R integration of minus phi 1 to phi 2 cos phi delta phi. If I simplify this, I get this value as mu naught I upon 4 pi r integration of cos phi. We know very well it's sine, so I get this value as sine phi minus phi 1 phi 2. I substitute the upper limit and the lower limit, so I get this equation as b equals to mu naught I upon 4 pi r sine of phi 2 minus sine of minus of phi 1. Therefore, the value of b here is mu naught I upon 4 pi r sine minus theta is minus sine theta, that minus becomes this as plus, so sine phi 1 plus sine phi 2. This is the equation you should know how to derive. Now let's say that we assume that this conductor is very long conductor. So if I take this conductor as a long conductor, then these angles will keep on increasing, that is phi 1 and phi 2. And let us assume that it's so long that this point has reached somewhere very close to Q. These angles will turn into 90 degrees. So if I substitute phi 1 and phi 2 as 90 degrees here, that is phi 1 equals to phi 2 equals to 90 degrees. Therefore B equals to mu naught I upon 4 pi r sine of 90 plus sine of 90. You know all very well the value of sine 90, so mu naught I upon 4 pi r, this will be into 2, so I can write this as 2 mu naught I upon 4 pi r, or you can also write this as mu naught I upon 2 pi r. So this is how you should know how to derive the equation.